Here's the good news. Here's the good news. We don't have a lot of criminals. Here's the bad news. They're very productive. The same small group of criminals keep doing the same. You heard about the robbery in Ottawa. Did you guys hear about the robbery in Ottawa? It's terrible. Guy walks up to another fellow, pulls out a gun and says, "Give me all your money." And the man says, "Wait a second, do you know who I am? I'm Justin Trudeau." And the criminal then looked at him and said, "Well, in that case, give me all my money." This morning, little baby Cruz here was actually a fighter pilot. He had a fighter pilot jacket on, but now he's got a baseball jacket on. So he understands something that the Liberals perhaps do not. So here, for 3 terms, they provided weak and out-of-touch leadership. 3 terms, they drove up costs and crime. 3 terms, they sent our jobs south and pushed our economy under the American thumb. My little boy understands something the Liberals do not, which is that in baseball and in politics, it's 3 strikes and you're out. 3 strikes and you're out. Wow, it is great to be here. What an incredible crowd. Look at this crowd. Look at this. Amazing. You're ready? Oh, bring it home. 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 We are going to bring it home. We are going to bring it home. My friends, I love you too. I love you too. I love you all. And I'm here with all of you to bring home the Canadian promise. The promise that Anna talked about, the incredible story of her family coming here from Venezuela, making the great sacrifices that her father did so that he could start a family, 6 people in a basement apartment in working-class Montreal, sacrificing everything every day up at the crack of dawn to pick fruit in a farm field, because that's what it took to pay the rent and raise the family and be a father. And as a result, today, one son is a soldier, another son is a carpenter, a daughter who is a nurse, and of course, the greatest woman in the world, Anaïda. That is the promise. That is the promise of Canada. And by the way, happy 39th birthday today, Louise. That's the promise the country made to me when I was born to a single mom who put me up for adoption to 2 school teachers. But those teachers taught me a lot of things. The most important was that in this country, if you worked hard, you could do anything you wanted. You get a beautiful house on a safe street, protected by courageous soldiers under a proud flag. That was the promise of Canada. But after 10 years of Liberals, that promise is broken. Everything costs more. Work, that's right, and we will fix it. We will bring it home. 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 Look at these incredible, hard-working, patriotic people. With people like these, we can overcome any obstacle. We can bring home the country we knew and loved. We can stand up to the Americans and put Canada first. You know, this is the thing about our country. Our people are so much better than our government, aren't they? They deserve so much better than this. In order to try and get a 4th term, after driving up costs and crime, after destroying our economy and putting us under the thumb of the Americans, the Liberals are replacing, you got to give them points for creativity and audacity. They are replacing Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and hand-picked successor. First of all, they are the same Liberals, with the same ministers, the same MPs, the same advisors, the same policies, and even today making the same promises that they've been breaking for over 10 years. And who did they choose to bring in? Mr. Carney. We are going to have under the Liberals led by Trudeau or Carney, what we have is out-of-touch, weak leadership. And for Mr. Carney, someone who will not stand up for our country. Only 6 days after Donald Trump threatened tariffs on our country, Mark Carney decided to move his headquarters out of Canada to the United States, to New York, Trump's hometown. That's the kind of... He moved billions of dollars out of the country. He is in massive multi-million-dollar... He admits, by the way, he's in massive multi-million-dollar conflicts of interest, but he just won't tell us what they are. He knows all of his investments. He knows all of his investments, but he won't tell you, even though those interests run against Canada's interests, my friends. It is time to stop putting the Liberal Party first. It is time to put Canada first for a change. And we've got a bring-it-home economic plan to do it. And it starts with a big, patriotic, bold, and beautiful bring-it-home tax cut for all Canadians. We will start by axing the carbon tax. By the way, the tax still applies at the pump today, but the Liberals are going to pull a fast one on this as well. After 7 years of applying the carbon tax, they've decided that they're going to hide it at the gas station for 30 days before the election, while keeping the carbon tax law in place. Furthermore, Mr. Carney says that he will bring in an industrial carbon tax. Another area, this is an area where Mr. Carney agrees with Donald Trump. They both want to tax Canadian industry. Trump's tariffs and Carney's carbon tax will send hundreds of thousands of Canadian jobs moving south of the border. There will be a large sucking sound of Canadian jobs leaving the country if the Carney carbon tax on steel, on fertilizer, on aluminum, on basically every industrial product that we rely on for our modern civilization faces this new tax. That is why I have announced that not only will I repeal the carbon tax on consumers... Oh, our little girl likes that one. Bravo, Valentina. But not only will I will get rid of the carbon tax on consumers, I will axe the entire carbon tax law for everyone, for everything, for good, for real, for a change. Have you seen this meme online? It's a little kid in the park with his dad. And the little munchkin is asking Dad, what is an income tax for? And the child is looking heartbroken as the dad explains to him that an income tax form is the opposite of a high school report card. He says, the better you do, the more you get punished, right? You know, it's the income tax is the fine you pay for the crime of working hard. Well, now, I saw today that the Liberals, Mr. Carney, was literally repeating the election promise about income tax that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals broke 10 years ago. So, Carney had Trudeau's top his top strategic advisors, his spin doctors like Gerald Butts, who wrote the promise Trudeau made about income tax 10 years ago, promised that Trudeau would then go on to break, raising income tax by 80%, and now they have the audacity to make the very same promise. My friends, we cannot believe them on taxes or anything else. But what you can know is this. When I become Prime Minister, God willing, I will... We will cut income tax so you bring home more of each dollar you earn and hard work actually pays off. And we will do it. We will cut government waste. We will cut bureaucracy, consultants, handouts to corporate insiders. We will cut wasteful foreign aid to dictators, terrorists, and multinational bureaucracies. And we will use the savings to bring down taxes and deficits in order to make your life more affordable. And we will bring homes that you can afford to buy. You deserve a home. We will axe the GST on homes to save you up to 50 grand. We will incentivize municipalities to speed up permits, free up land, and cut development charges to build the homes of the future. Our Bring It Home economic plan is also about bringing home our jobs for a change. After 10 years of this Liberal government, in 3 terms, they've driven $500 billion out of our economy, most of it into the hands of the Americans. They did it by bringing in radical, net zero environmental extremism. They blocked nearly $200 billion of resource projects. Mr. Carney was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor as the Liberals waged war on our energy and resource sector. But we will take action to reverse this attack on Canadian jobs and industry. I will repeal the Liberal No New Pipelines Law, C-69. Common sense. We're going to make common sense common again, and we're going to repeal the Liberal cap on Canadian energy. We will unleash all of our energy sector to produce more and bring it home. I heard someone say, ring of fire over there. Ring of fire. Ring of fire. We have hundreds of billions of dollars of cobalt, copper, chromite, zinc, gold. That belongs to us. It's right beneath our feet. The Liberals have been blocking it for 5 years. I'm going to move to grant the permits within 6 months. Let's dig some mines. We're going to unleash, we're going to bring to the surface our 1,300 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. We have massive advantages. We have massive advantages in natural gas. You know, what is it? First of all, it takes 11 days to ship to Asia from Canada. It takes 20 days from the U.S. Gulf Coast. Second of all, how do you liquefy gas? You cool it down. And what do we have in Canada? We have cold weather, which means it's 25% cheaper to liquefy gas in Canada than it is in the U.S. Gulf Coast. We have clean hydroelectricity that can power that liquefaction. We have the incredible engineers who can do it. All we need is to grant permission, and that is what I will do. We will cool that gas to minus 161 degrees Celsius. We will ship it off to Asia. We're going to ship it off to Asia to sell it to them so they can break their dependence on dirty coal. We will ship it off to Europe to break European dependence on Putin and break Canada's dependency on the Americans. We will turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people. Bring it home. I love you guys too, and I need you all, the young people here, I need you to go and study the trades. Get an apprenticeship. We got any trades workers here? Well, give it up for the trades workers. Boots, not suits. Right on. Because we're going to have these shovel-ready zones. These shovel-ready zones will draw a big circle around an area that's already pre-permitted and pre-approved to dig a mine, build a power station, a data center, a pipeline, you name it. We'll get it approved before they even apply for it. Lightning fast permitting will get the projects going. But we're going to need the workers to do it. Now, Liberals turn their nose up at the trades. They look down at people who work with their hands. The smartest people. We don't need any of that elitism. What we need is the practical people who know how to dig stuff, move stuff, fix stuff, and build stuff, right? And that's why I announced we're going to cut bureaucracy and we're going to put the money into restoring the $4,000 apprenticeship grants, and we're going to fund 350,000 more training spots for young apprenticeships and other people to learn how to build stuff. Boots, not suits. Boots, not suits. And you know what else we're going to do? We're going to bring home the Canadian promise for our brilliant immigrants. We have while we help end the shortfall in our healthcare system, we have 20,000 immigrant doctors and 32,000 immigrant nurses who can't work because there's no way for them to prove their qualifications. We've had the red seal for the trades in this country for over 70 years. It's very simple. You have a merit-based national licensing system recognized by the provinces that allows our immigrant and Canadian-born but trained abroad doctors, nurses, architects, and others take a test, prove they're qualified, get a license, and get working, reducing our wait times in the hospital. We've got to get our Filipino nurses working in our hospitals. We want them and everyone to bring home powerful paychecks, but those paychecks have to go to safe neighborhoods again. So we will stop the crime. Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder are overtaking our once safe streets. The catch and release liberal justice system turns loose the same violent offenders over and over again. Now listen to this. Here's the good news. Here's the good news. We don't have a lot of criminals. Here's the bad news. They're very productive. The same small group of criminals keep doing the same. You heard about the robbery in Ottawa. Did you guys hear about the robbery in Ottawa? It's terrible. Guy walks up to another fellow, pulls out a gun and says, "Give me all your money." And the man says, "Wait a second, do you know who I am? I'm Justin Trudeau." And the criminal then looked at him and said, "Well, in that case, give me all my money." Anyway, they have C-75, which grants automatic bail. It requires judges release offenders at the, quote, earliest opportunity under the, quote, least restrictive conditions. That's right out of the law. So then the judges release them again and again and again. In Vancouver, they had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times. In Penticton, get this, in Penticton, there is one guy, his name is Levi. He does so much crime that when he's out of prison, the crime rate for the entire city of Penticton goes up. One guy. The solution is very simple. It's very simple. Jail, not bail. We will bring in a law making repeat offenders ineligible for bail, probation, parole, or house arrest. It will be jail, not bail. Jail, not bail. And then, my friends, unfortunately, there's the terrible tragedy of drugs. Opioid overdoses have killed 50,000 people in the last decade, more than died fighting for Canada in the Second World War. These drugs are ravaging our communities, tearing apart families, and ending far too many promising lives. We know this happened because corrupt pharmaceutical companies lied to the medical system to push those opioids, claiming that they were neither addictive nor lethal. In fact, they were both. And now the Liberal government continues to give more money to those same corrupt pharmaceutical companies to hand out what they call a safe supply. In other words, giving more opioids to people who are addicted to opioids. They have effectively decriminalized hard drug possession. They are not prosecuting drug possession crimes. And meanwhile, those courageous people who struggle with addiction and want to get help cannot find assistance because there are no spaces for them. My friends, we will take the opposite of approach. After 10 years of this Liberal government, they do not deserve a fourth term. What we need is to fight drugs for a change. We will ban the drugs, stop giving out taxpayer-funded opioids. We will invest in treatment and recovery to bring our loved ones home drug-free. My message to anyone out there who's struggling with addiction, I know it's hard, but have hope. Hang on. Help is on the way. And we will restore order at the border. Liberals have broken the border, allowing 99% of shipping containers to enter without any inspection at all. That's where the drugs, guns, and stolen cars are able to move. Our common sense plan will hire 2,000 more frontline CBSA officers. We will have surveillance towers and scanners that can look right inside those shipping containers. Very simple. If the manifest says that it's widgets in the container, but you look at the scanner and you see it's a beamer, well, then you pull the box aside, you roll the car out, you call the guy on the VIN, you say, "Were you planning to send your beamer to Turkey today?" "No, you weren't. You were planning to drive it to work, but it was missing from your driveway." "Well, we've got it over at the Port of Montreal. You can pick it up." And then you go to the guy who booked the shipping container and you say, "You're under arrest." Common sense. How are we going to pay for it? We have a dollar-for-dollar principle. We're going to get the money elsewhere. You know what we're going to do? We're going to cancel the multi-billion-dollar gun grab that targets licensed, law-abiding, trained, and tested. So here's the choice. Liberals want to go after Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle. Grandpa Joe's not the problem. He's not shooting up our streets. Here's the choice, my friends. Canada First Conservatives want to protect Canadians from criminals. Liberals want to protect turkeys from hunters. You decide what makes most sense to you. But in order to have safety in our land, we need a strong, well-funded, respected, and supported Canadian Armed Forces again. Our Canada First plan starts with reinvesting and taking back control of our Arctic seas, skies, and soil from incursions by the Chinese and Russians. The Liberals could not even shoot down a Chinese spy balloon. I think it was actually a weather balloon, but they couldn't stop that either. Because they've cut back on our forces, disrespected, wasted money, and put the dollars into back office bureaucracy. Our common sense plan, we'll cut back on foreign aid and put it into our military to support our troops. And that will include, we'll bring home our money. And we will use it to build the first post-Cold War base in the Arctic, CFB Iqaluit. 4 massive Arctic icebreakers that are going to smash through all that ice, open up our waters, and declare our sovereignty over that territory. We will ensure we have new fighter jets, new Poseidon surveillance aircraft that can look down and intercept and interrupt the work of the Chinese and Russians with their submarines. We'll double the size of the first patrol of the Arctic Rangers, who are on the ground defending our sovereignty, and to bind our people together and renew the interest of our youth in the military and in our country. We will massively expand the Cadet Corps for our young people. And we will end the radical, borderless, globalist ideology of the Liberal government. Out of control, borderless policies like the Century Initiative, which seeks to, where Mr. Carney and Mr. Trudeau have taken the advice of Mr. Wiseman, which is to expand our population to 100 million people. More than doubling the population of the GTA when we're already in a housing crisis. We have seen, we love immigration. We always had the best immigration system in the world. We brought in people with skills who could fill jobs and succeed in our country in numbers that our housing, healthcare, and job market could absorb. But Liberals blew the system out of control, increasing population at 3 times the rate of our housing stock. They allowed fraud and abuse in the temporary foreign worker, international student, and in the other programs. Common sense conservatives will reject. Canada First conservatives will reject the Century Initiative. We will end the abuse in those programs, reject fraudulent claimants, deport criminals from this country, and we will cap immigration so that never again does our population grow faster than our housing, our healthcare, and our jobs. We will also honor our history, this cancel culture that has tried to lower our flag. We're going to put Terry Fox and the Famous Five and our veterans and other Canadian heroes back in the passport. We're going to unite our country around common values, common identity, common sense, and a common love for our country. We're going to put our statues back up, including the great John A. Macdonald. And we will build out the vision of an East-West nation that John A. brought to this country. He was the first to stand up and say, "We are not Americans, we are Canadian." Canada, Canada. We will unite this great nation from east to west, binding it together with pipelines and free trade and open markets and common values and shared aspirations. We will be a nation that builds homes for its youth, makes goods for itself, trades from Canadian to Canadian, that honors its history, supports its heroes, uplifts its young people, and honors its old. We will go from being a nation of tax collectors and toll masters, bureaucrats and busybodies, grandees and gatekeepers, rulers and rule makers, to being a nation of explorers and entrepreneurs, artists and adventurers, warriors and workers, pioneers and patriots, united. What binds us together What binds us together is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work gets you a great life, in a beautiful house, on a safe street, protected by brave troops under a proud flag. To uphold that flag and its promise, we must work together, fight together, and win together. That is what it means to put Canada